You guys rest.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Manoj Gunti, and I'm Product Marketing Manager for Google Cloud's BigQuery. Data and AI are opening up numerous opportunities for organizations, from improving operational efficiency, cost savings, to unlocking new revenue streams. Today, marketing teams are able to create micro-segmentations and synthetically generate outbound messages to improve cross-sell and upsell. Customer service teams are able to engage with their clients in a more natural and conversational style to improve conversions. Data teams are able to easily search, navigate, and analyze complex data sets to reduce time to insights. Therefore, it's no surprise that data and AI leaders are more profitable than their peers. A recent study by Harvard Business Review shows that organizations that are effective at harnessing the full power of data and AI were much better positioned to navigate through the challenges of the past few years. They outperformed across several business metrics, such as operational efficiency, market share, and customer satisfaction. So, to help you build a great data foundation and accelerate your path to AI adoption, we are bringing our approach to organizing world's information and making it universally accessible and useful to your organization. Google's Data and AI Cloud provides a unified solution to manage workloads across your entire data lifecycle. It is designed to run anywhere so that you can harness your data, whether it's on-premise or distributed across the clouds, while reducing the costs and risks associated with data movement. It is built with and for AI, so you get to use the latest tools to train, tune, and deploy custom AI models. It is this simplicity, scale, security, and intelligence that makes Google's Data and AI Cloud a preferred solution for thousands of customers across industries to power their transformation. In this session, we will hear one such transformation story from the 5th largest airlines in the US. So without further ado, let me welcome Natalie Bowman and Charu Jain from Alaska Airlines. Take it away, Natalie.
Thank you. Charu's going to come up in a moment and talk to you about a few things, but first I wanted to introduce you a bit to Alaska Airlines. Many of you may not be familiar. We are the 5th largest airline in the United States. We're the 16th largest airline in the world. We have approximately 25,000 employees. We fly to over 115 destinations. This is our route map. What's not shown here, because I couldn't fit it in the map, are the Bahamas, Guatemala, Belize, Costa Rica, other parts of Mexico. We're also a member of the One World Alliance, so we sell 10 of our global partners on alaskaair.com and partner with an extensive network reaching almost 1,000 different destinations where you can earn and redeem Alaska miles. So we're a big deal. We're also one of the most profitable airlines in the United States, to Manoj's point, driven by really key focus on cost savings, efficiency, and operations, while also delivering great customer experience. We have an incredibly generous mileage plan. We were ranked #1 by NerdWallet. We were just named the most innovative airline in the world. So hopefully this gives you an idea a bit of who Alaska Airlines is. I appreciate everyone coming if you didn't know who we were. We care a lot. This is something that you'll see. The data for us is all about empowering our ability to deliver a caring experience. It's what we're known for, and it's something that we find really critical and core to our brand. So the 3 things we're going to talk to you about today are 3 key transformations that we have undergone from a data and analytics perspective that have really propelled us to the future. And Charu's going to talk about the first 2. One is an innovative industry-first idea that she innovated. I'm going to give her the trademark of a digital airline platform, which really enabled a lot of additional things that we've now been able to unlock, including curb to gate in 5 minutes or less, and this idea of a lobbyless future. And then we'll talk about modern retail, which is how we're partnering with Google Cloud and Google Cloud partners to really reinvent the way that we sell airline tickets and service our customers on our sites. So I'm going to have Charu come up and take you through the first two.
Okay, well, thank you, Natalie. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I know it's been an amazing 2 days, so I appreciate your grit for hanging on till this third day and being here. It's a really exciting time at Alaska Airlines, and I'm looking forward to share that story with you. And Natalie and 2 of our leadership team members are here too for Q&A in the future. So, as I listened to sessions over the last 2 days, one common theme was, yes, data, AI, Gen AI, but it wasn't just about the technology, it was also about leadership and driving change and how to manage risks and what are the organizational factors. So I'm gonna build around and bring in some of those things as I talk about these 2 things. So I joined Alaska 6 years ago as Chief Information Officer, and I had 3 priorities. First was to improve our stability and reliability, because we all know if the basics don't work, nobody wants to have a strategic conversation with you. Second was, how do we were going through the merger with Virgin America, which a lot of you that are here would understand really well. And the 2 things that can make or break a merger are technology and culture. So we did that. And the third priority, really, I want to ask you a question, and maybe then I'll reveal it. So how many of you have flown on Alaska Airlines? Wow, I wish I could take a picture of all the hands that are up. What do you think makes us special and win customer service awards year after year? People. Who said that? Well, Mike, you can't answer. You're an alumni. But he's right. So our people are our magic sauce, and so my third priority was, how do I enable our employees to deliver remarkable guest experiences? So to do that, what we had to do is to really put mobile tools in the hands of all our employees. So all our CSAs have iPads, pilots have iPads, maintenance technicians have iPads, our flight attendants have iPhones. And the reason for that is so that they can do their job easily, and they can interact with the company easily, they can connect with each other easily for flights to leave. And it's technology that's easy to understand. It's not old screens and really complex things to do. And then the second thing was, how do we create a single view of the guest? And that's really what I'll talk about in a little bit. And third, how do we make that available to our employees? How do we make all of that information? So we are a 91-year-old company, and like many others, we have silos of data. We have so many customer data stores. We have things that don't connect to each other, and there's really not a good way to see the full view of the customer. And for us to really understand if a customer is buying or shopping on alaskaair.com versus they called RAS, versus they talk to a CSA at the airport or a flight attendant on the flight, how do we connect all of those things? We had a lot of data from a marketing point of view on customers, but we were missing a very big piece, which was the experience that they had with us. So we knew a flight was delayed, but if Vivek was on that flight, we weren't capturing that Vivek had a delay. And that really was a big gap in our customer data strategy. So that's where this vision for a digital airline platform started. And it's all about how in real time do we capture every event that's going on in the airline and correlate that data and then make that available to either our employees to take action or for other parts of the company to take action. So it connects our employees, operations, and back office together. It's all event-driven. And so when an event happens, a plane takes off, we know it took off. A customer does something, we know that this is what happened with them. So now if a flight is delayed, the 178 people on that plane, we know they were delayed. If their bag is lost, we know that. So, and we're continuing to enrich this information. And we, in the future, really look to capturing conversations that guests have with our people and actually feeding it into this. Manoj asked us to leave this very complicated diagram up here, but this is really the architecture behind this. And there's a lot of information on this screen. And really what it highlights is a lot of things had to come together, a lot of different technologies and tools and processes to start building what I would call a digital twin of the airline. So if you were sitting somewhere and you could see everything going on in an airport, what decisions would you make? But since you can't do that, because we have 48 million customers and we fly to 118 destinations ourselves, so what is that pulse of the airline that you can get and make decisions off of, whether you're making decisions around crew or flight or guests? Some of the things that we learned as we did this was we started quickly and we iterated. We had a lot of these technologies we started with and then found that some things didn't work and we had to go replace it and then replace it again. So it wasn't like the perfect world, it was learning as we were doing it, but we didn't wait for that. So, speed was important to us and iteration was important to us. The other thing we had a lot of discussions on is, so we took all of that data and exposed it to our flight attendants. So they have this, kind of the guest mood meter in a way, like how pissed off is somebody gonna be or how happy are they with us, so they understand where the guest is coming from. And we had a lot of debate around what do we want the flight attendant to do with that data? And we had debates over, we should tell them these are the 2 things they need to do. Because we're giving them the data, right? So they should do something with it. So we actually have, of all our employee groups, we have early adopters. So we have 6,000 flight attendants, 400 of them are early adopters. We have legends. Legends is our highest award of customer service. So we talked to our early adopters and legends and found from them on what they would do if they had this data. And each of those examples was more remarkable than anything we could tell them to do. So we basically decided not to tell them anything. We kind of left it up to them to say, when you see this, you decide what you want to do. And the stories that come in about how they apologize or how they're empowered to take steps. They can do whatever steps is in their service framework and really have that conversation with the guest. And so that's really led to a lot of, how we get those customer service awards is really around our people. Our people take that step of making it special. So it's all about how to enable them versus really eliminate them. And that's a big part of our strategy. So this is, again, giving some examples of how we're putting information in the hands of our employees. I should have clicked earlier. So, so going back to sort of, organization and career and leadership. So those were my first 3 years as a CIO. And then I had the opportunity to move to the commercial side of the business. So it's a very unique role that's been created building on my strengths as a CIO, but also giving me the opportunity to learn new things and grow. So the first part of my job is really having all our digital channels, whether they're direct or indirect, so B2C and B2B2C, and really understanding where our customers are buying our product and what their preferences are and how we can merchandise to them. So that's a key piece of our partnership with Google, and Natalie's going to talk about that. How are we going to innovate in that area? The second part of my role is really defining and driving the innovation strategy for Alaska. So Alaska is known for being very innovative. It's in our DNA. We were the first to sell tickets online. We were the first to put self-service kiosks at airport, and we're the first to remove them. And so as I took on the role, I worked with our executives and our board on what does innovation mean for Alaska at this point in time. That was back in the 90s. What do we want to do now? So we created a framework. We created focus areas and a strategy and funding. And to have teeth into it, we actually, for the Alaska Air Group Board of Members, we created an innovation committee with 5 of the board members. And so we really drive innovation. It's not called a technology committee. It's called an innovation committee, and I run that for Alaska. So innovation is now one of 4 growth pillars for the airline in our strategic plan. And we define focus areas around driving revenue or guest or employee experiences. Everything we do touches every part of the airline. There's nothing we can do just by ourselves because it touches either our in-flight or airports or our commercial teams. It was very important for us to say, as we do innovation, we do ideation on a lot of ideas, but we also get things into the hand of our employees and our guests. So it wasn't just about the cool ideas, it was also about how we can transform our business with it. So the processes that we've set up allow us to quickly ideate, fail, succeed, and then take those forward into our product and engineering teams and deliver them quickly. And I think that's given us an agility, a business agility, that allows us to compete very effectively and has led to a lot of industry firsts. And I think that's why I'm very excited about our partnership with Google, because I think those things come together really well, that business agility and the spirit of innovation. So one of the things we have done lately is this transformation of our airport and lobbies. And that started with a business problem. We are an airline, we are a growth airline. So we're a 5th airline in the US, 16th largest in the world. And our whole thing is about growth. How do we grow? As we grow, all of you that travel know airports are a very constrained environment. So how do we grow in an environment that's constrained, but grow without adding cost and footprint? So that was the challenge we took into what does the airport of the future look like for us? And we started with the lobby, which is the check-in area. We reimagined every piece of technology, every process, every role that happens, every guest behavior that happens in that lobby, and came up with a bold goal of getting our guests through the lobby in 5 minutes or less with baggage. So how did we do that? We had to, like I said, we had to reimagine everything. And we started with data. So what do guests do in the lobby? We found, okay, well, half of them have bags and half of them don't. Okay, great. It should be easy for the ones that don't have bags to get through the airport in less than 5 minutes. Well, of the people that don't have bags, 60% still go and see an agent or go to a kiosk. So what are they doing there? Why are they going to the kiosk? How have we trained them? This technology's been there for 25 years now. So we've trained them to go do something at the airport when they don't need to. And of the people that have bags, they are also going 60% to full assistance because we don't have a self-service option. So we really looked at all of these, and ultimately where we've ended up is three things. One is we took that work that guests were doing at the airport and moved that outside of the airport. So we've encouraged guests to check in and get a boarding pass before they get to the airport. And the reason is you don't need to do that at the airport. And for those of you in the airline business, you know that getting a boarding pass is not just, checking in is not just you're getting a boarding pass. It means your ticket is all good and everything works in the background and you don't need to see an agent. So by checking in when you're home, in the comfort of your home, you have time. And if there's a problem, you can call Res to fix it, or you can allow more time at the airport, so it's predictable. And what we're finding is every airport now that we're installing this new process and technology and roles, our check-in before airport has gone up 10%. So our goal is to get to 90%, and we're like 79% right now. And we haven't finished, we're 50% deployed. So that guest behavior change has been key to getting this to work. Then the second piece was when you get to the airport and you do need to use some things, how do we make that easy for you? Our kiosks are really, really old, and people were spending 2 to 3 to 4 minutes on them. They're printing out a boarding pass. The boarding pass is old as soon as you print it out because the gate can change, the time can change. So how do we, when we encourage people to check in, they get a digital boarding pass that they can use. So we replaced all our kiosks. We were the first in the industry to put them in. We were the first to take them out and replace them with a product that we developed ourselves. There was no airline or no vendor looking at this. So again, going back to providing mobile tools, we use iPads and connected them to a bag tag printer. It was never done before. It's the first time in the industry that's been done. And what that's now allowed us is it's a 45-second experience versus the 2 to 3 minute experience. You can only do one thing, which is about bags. You can go print a boarding pass. You cannot do anything else. And then going back to our employees have iPads, and we've connected that to these bag tag stations, as we call them. So an employee always knows what's going on there. If a guest has an issue, they can help them remotely, or they can come and help the guest. So again, back to not having the guest go from line to line to line. They can stay where they are, and we can help them. The second part of that was dropping a bag. So today, we have to see an agent to drop a bag and check ID. So we have announced our biometric strategy that'll help us provide self-service, and we're gonna be launching automated bag drops. These have been used widely in Australia and Europe, but not in the US. So we're the first airline that's gonna put them at all our hubs starting next year. And it's a very seamless experience. And you put your bag on the belt, it scans, it weighs, and then it checks your identity through biometrics or otherwise, and then the bag goes. So all of those are functions that let us get through the lobby in 5 minutes or less. And then obviously our people are always there to help the people that actually need help. Scanning a bag tag is a very transactional experience, but helping people that need help is really where they shine. So 50% of this is deployed, 50% of our airports now has this technology. What we've learned is guest behavior can be influenced and changed. We were worried about people that would show up, demographically, like older people that may not be comfortable with this. We're finding they're actually better prepared because they read their emails and their notifications and are ready versus some of the people, younger people. We found iteration and getting, rapidly iterating was really important. We had the technology down, but I think we're on the 4th version of our form factor, because getting it right at the airport and being a representation of our brand was a big thing. And so we're very excited about being able to make this change, and now we can grow 30 to 40% of passengers without having a constraint in the lobby. And so we're now gonna be moving that, and next is our gate. Security and gate is the next frontier that we're gonna go after. So again, these are innovations that are data, we're using data and analytics across all of these to understand behavior and influence behavior. But large transformations like these take the whole company, and a lot of big bets had to be made here in terms of being the first to start changing behavior in the future. So like I said, it's a really exciting time at Alaska. And then the next focus area is around modern retailing. How do we become a modern retailer and not just an airline? So I'm gonna have Natalie come back and talk to you about that.
All right. So an airline in the cloud. We're very excited to talk about all of the things that we've done with Google. Like many brands, we are a multi-cloud company. And when we sought out a partner for all of our guest-facing initiatives, what we found is that we already had a lot of tentacles in with other Google departments. Google had a great customer strength that some of their competitors didn't when it came to guest-facing and retail-focused solutions. So it really made them the right partner for us to build this new retailing platform. And so wanted to give you the weeds a little bit and show, how we dig in with the Google partner team and Google Cloud Partners is really focused on 3 primary areas. It was first setting up a software delivery platform so that we could actually build the things. Then building a guest data engine, so you saw the digital airline platform that Charu presented, connecting that with all of the information that we know about our guests and also about our shoppers, so known and unknown shoppers, because really being able to move people through the funnel, connecting what we're doing with SEM with what we're doing on the site was a really critical move, because we're spending millions and millions on getting people to our site, and we want to make sure that we're keeping as many people as possible going through that funnel and having that great retail experience with Alaska Air. And so it's powering this dynamic storefront, which is all about personalization, really delivering the right offer at the right time and the right channel, understanding previous experiences that they've had, like using the DAP, so that mood meter, knowing, maybe we don't want to talk to this person right now because we have delayed their flight 5 times, or maybe that's exactly why they need $100 off their next flight. Really being able to deliver that truly personal, direct experience. So when I talk about the tentacles that we already had with Google, as we build this modern retailing platform, what we're doing is stitching together a lot of different partners and work that had already been happening across the company. And as Charu said, this is a cross-company effort. This involves marketing, e-commerce, ITS. There are a lot of teams involved. I think some of these partners are here. I see some proud face. So AdSwerve, we built our machine learning models with the AdSwerve team. We did this over COVID. And this was interesting. This was driven by the marketing department. And what we did there was predictive lifetime value models. And so we used a bit of the downtime in COVID combined with the fact that as an airline, we needed to be as creative as possible about how we identified who we could get back onto the planes. So we built these great models that we're still using today. Quantometrics is a key partner, and we want to unlock those capabilities as well with the work that we do with Google Cloud. Then we have the guest data and the DAP, and of course, Google Analytics. So you can start to see this is one initiative where we pull all of those together. Previously, these were distinct departments using this data in different ways, not really using it together to drive decisions. And then there's a unique layer from an airline perspective with Google in that the underlying operational software that really powers the airline, that powers inventory, pricing, upsells, part of that is driven by Google. And so there's this great integration with what's called QPX, or ITA, for those of you who know. And so this has given us, again, another unique way. As we talk about serving up the right offer, Google is in a really unique position to prioritize those offers and really deliver the right inventory in the right way for the guests to get them to engage. So we're going to pull all of this together in a generative AI large language model, because we have to get those words in for the work that we're doing, and deliver this modern retailing platform. And so for some, this might not sound as modern retail if you come from a traditional e-commerce background, if you're selling retail, shirts, shoes, if you're a Walmart. But from an airline perspective, the retailing experience for airline has not changed in 20 years. And so when we talk about being the first to sell airline tickets in the 90s, I guarantee if you looked at what a ticket looked like then and what it looks like now on the site, there's probably not that much difference. The layout might be a little bit cleaner, but at the end of the day, we're throwing a ton of industry information at you when you go to buy a ticket, when at the end of the day, you just want a seat from San Francisco to Seattle. And so we really want to move into that. How do you make it a more seamless, enjoyable retail experience? So a couple of key areas that are coming. One is, as I mentioned, natural language search, and I'll show you an example of that in the next slide. The other is this offer engine, and really powering how we deliver offers. And so there's a really small green tag at the top that says best for you. So right now, if you go on to an Expedia, an airline site, and you search for flights, typically what you're seeing is it's ranked by departure time or fare. We want to add everything we know about you, everything we know about your travel behavior, to really serve up that best fare for you, to make it very quick and seamless for you to get that into your cart so that you can check out and fly. We also want to use this information of knowing when you've searched for something that perhaps you ignored it, that the abandoned cart is really showing these real-time fares. And again, this is something that might not sound as sophisticated from a t-shirt, that t-shirt that was $20 is now $15. But when it comes to airlines where inventory and pricing are changing every single second, to be able to get this information and stitch it together and deliver it to someone in real time is truly, truly innovative. So we're very excited and proud about being able to roll this out. And then in the future, we really want to inject wayfinding. The experience of the airport is very overwhelming for a lot of people. Helping them with all the information we know about where they are, where they're going, what wait times they can anticipate. The wayfinding, we think, is going to be a huge opportunity for us, so that as you are walking around the lobby, because you don't need to go into the lobby, your device is able to clearly help you take those next few steps, to know when to get to the gate, to know how to get to the gate when you're in a connection. So taking everything from Google Maps combined with what we know about our guests is really a powerful story to help create that better travel experience. So natural language search, one way this can come up, and I think as we've all heard this week, there are so many different opportunities and ways that natural language search is going to show up. This example is a chat conversation, but could just as easily be a voice conversation, where we're allowing people to be more fluid and flexible. A very common pain point for people is they have a lot of miles, but they don't really know where they want to go, or they don't know where they can afford to go. And so rather than someone having to go through and search this 17 times to find the right solution, we make it a more natural conversation. The system knows how many miles you have. It knows what it costs to fly those miles. It can really start to filter and show you where you can get the best deal and what's going to match your interest level the best. So it's very exciting, coming soon. So we've now gone through 3 of these key categories. Thank you to those of you in the room who were part of the work that was developed. I see quite a few of you, so that's exciting. But as you see, Alaska has long had the strategic investment, executive buy-in, partly because of leaders, primarily because of leaders like Charu, who really drive this to our executives. I promise you, we do not have, it's not as if we have a tech-savvy board of directors and leadership team just looking for this. Charu really had to push and tell these stories. But you can see she used data, and very simple data in some cases. One of the examples she gave is it takes 45 seconds to print the bag tag. That's a piece of information that now our operation leaders can understand, they can repeat. It happens to be 47 right now, so they're really focused on why it's 47 and not 45. And those conversations, I think, really bridge the gap from a very operations, finance-focused company with a company trying to move technology and innovation. So I think it's a great case study in really pulling those together and pushing technology to solve problems in environments that maybe are not historically technically innovative.